Hello and welcome to episode 44 of the Short Convos podcast with JC Warrior of Light Cashman and sorry, I speeded him up and Asmir Alai. We are here, he's here, we're here. How are we, sir?
Yeah, we are good. You did your research. It was episode 44. You knew that coming in there, didn't you?
Had it. If it's not, then I'm really sorry, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, you're pretty confident on that one. As I'm all good, thank you. Last week, I think was it during our Wisdom Wednesday, or did we talk about it on the convo as well about sleep and the need and the recharging the routine your body goes through. I feel like since the start of this week, not the whole week, just start this week, I lost a little bit of sleep over the weekend and got up a bit early. I don't feel like I've gone through that cycle of it got broken. I haven't quite gone through that full cycle. So Monday, Tuesday was a bit hard work, not as in I wasn't down or wasn't anything like that, as in I just didn't feel rebooted. So for instance, I had the milk yesterday and the big cupboard is next to the fridge. I've got the milk in hand and you open the cupboard and it's like, no, I don't intend. So it's been a bit like that for the start of the week, but today was very productive. I felt like I hit a lot of those spinning plates and today was a lot more productive. See, I can't even speak. You?
I loved, by the way, those sleepy stories, silly stuff you do while you're half asleep. My best
good,
one for me was I made myself an instant coffee, got my favorite mug out, put my spoon of coffee in, put my spoon of sugar in, blah, 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 went to my desk, went to drink it and sprayed coffee powder all over my face. I didn't even put the milk or the hot water in it, just coffee powder straight in my face. So yeah, I'm all good. I'm quite tired. Same, I don't sleep great anyway, but I'm feeling it this week. Like my eyes are a little bit black and circled as usual. But yeah, no, I'm okay. Like you, I'm not in a bad mood. I'm not upset, but I'm just running on fumes a little in that sense.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind a rant though, if I may take the opportunity today. I wouldn't mind a rant, and I want to rant about driving. I don't want to rant about bad driving because I think we can all at times put our hand in the air and say, I've driven bad. You've misjudged a corner, got a little bit too fast, or you've not crashed into someone, but you've pulled out when you shouldn't. I think we can all put our hands in the air and say, we're culprits at times for bad driving, and there are clearly people on the road that should not be on the road. I don't know how they ever passed that test in the first place because they are bad drivers. So I don't want to rant about that. I think that's a bit of a lost cause, or it's just an acceptance already there. I don't know if it's because I'm driving a little less, or the time I'm driving, or pandemic. I suppose I don't want an answer, but this reckless driving, that idiotic stupidity of drivers, there just seems to be a lot of it. The person that overtakes you on a blind bend just to get a car ahead of you, and you pass at the traffic lights because they're in the other lane that they had to wait in. Just to, people getting up behind each other's asses and things like that. Just a pure stupidity, which if it went wrong, it would be serious consequences. And if they were shown, I'm sure, if they were shown a video of themselves, if they could sit in the car watching themselves, they would be like, no, why am I doing that? Why am I doing that? So I already feel like I've got it off my chest, but it just seems a little bit more present at the moment. I don't know, again, if it's because of change of habits or just the world we're living at the moment. There just seems to be a few more idiots out there, or people behaving in an idiotic way driving.
Yeah, I get it. I just got myself a new car. Very happy.
Way. Are you still keeping the Duke as well? Are you like doubling it up?
The Duke is gone. The Duke is gone. I was just like, I'll pay you to take the Duke and I'll buy a car. Yeah, no, I very happily got rid of it. But I can say, because this car is like very new and therefore a lot more modern than the Duke, and I don't sometimes notice my speed in it. And I'm like, because like my brain knows how long it takes to get to 30. but this car does it quicker than the other car and quieter and smoother. So it's like I'm going and I glance down, I'm like doing 50 and a 30 and I'm like, oh God, brake. Because I don't mean to, I'm not trying to drive like a dick. But I think a big part of why people are doing this is modern cars, less and less you feel how fast you're going. Your camper's great because in your camper, you know exactly how fast you're going because you can feel it through every nut and bolt in the car. And when you get up to real speeds in it, 60.
Like flying, skin coming off your face.
But it almost feels a little bit dangerous, doesn't it? In the car, you're kind of like, oh, I'm coming close to what this thing is capable of. Whereas in like a very modern car, you don't feel anything. You can do 70, 80, 90, and inside you don't feel any of it. And like you said, until it goes wrong, and then you're going to come literally crashing down to reality when it starts morphing and bending and killing people.
Yeah, I completely get you, and I agree, but it doesn't serve
I know a
my
lot
rant.
of it. It
doesn't serve my rant. I'm just talking about idiots. I'm not trying to help,
but yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Idiots.
I just know that there's that, but no, I know exactly what you mean. I live in London, so it's constant.
Oh,
It's every other car is that idiot. So you just
it's the nature of it, isn't it?
You come to peace. I haven't got a rant, but I have got something I would like to. I'm very interested to know how you feel about it.
Oh, I'm interested to know what you're asking.
Fat children.
Fat children.
Fat children. I think it's abuse. I'll come.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, great.
Yeah, 100%.
I saw this girl. I was at the shops and I saw this girl. She couldn't have been older than 5, and she was at least double the weight that she should be for that age. She was like massive for a 5-year-old. And I just thought, you have set that kid up for like just misery, because it's going to be so difficult for them to correct the eating habits, the behavior, and let alone just shift the weight. Not that they should even be thinking about anything like that at that age. And I just think, because kids can burn through food, what are you feeding it that it gets that fat that quick?
Yeah.
That early.
Like, it's scary when you see a child that ages their weight. So they're like 5, 6 stone, 7 stone, 8. By the time they're 12, they're 12 stone. That's like, a well-stocked man. Before they're a teenager. And 100%. It's abuse. But now that you brought it up, this isn't directly related to kids, but the whole topic of fat, obviously not, or maybe we haven't spoke about it before, but my brother had a theory a while back that he used to always like to bring up every now and then. We went to Disneyland, America, Orlando, and my sister-in-law turned around after the first day with the camera and said, "Just, what are you doing?" And all day he'd been taking pictures of fat people. You're just like a weird, obsessive kind of way. He was like, I was just gobsmacked. I knew they were big, but my gosh. But yeah, no, his theory is fat tax. He thinks we should have a fat tax. So if you are it would be hard to monitor because your body mass index doesn't necessarily mean that you are obese, especially if you're muscular or, a different physique. But there's all the things that basically are not good for you and make you fat, or, a supersize something or whatever. I don't know how you would monitor it, but he feels there should be a fat tax, because if you taxed it, it's no longer in your genes, it's no longer in your bones, and people would do something about it.
Yeah, it's the problem with it being like personal responsibility, isn't it? Because there's this big thing between whether or not it's McDonald's fault or it's your fault, because McDonald's is not exactly trying to not make you fat. They very happily sell you whatever you ask for. You ask for 5 things of chips, they're not going to turn to you and say, do you really want 5? Shall we just have 1 and a salad? Like, they're happy to sell it. But then is it your personal responsibility to control yourself and manage what you eat? I guess, I think it is, but a lot of people don't seem to see it that way, do they?
Yeah, I think it's all down to man in the mirror. I think we should all be responsible for our own, Yeah, well, what we put in our own mouth at the end of the day, and until they come of age where they're an adult, they're a grown up, the kids are ultimately the parents' responsibility. So yeah, I think you're right. It should be classed as abuse because it is. You get locked up if you hit a child, if all the right ways of protecting children from that point of view, but there should be protection on because the kid's so innocent. It's like the kid knows, especially of that age where they've only ever known that, they know no different. So I can give you a donut and you eat it, and I can give you another donut and you eat half of it, pause and eat it. I can give you another donut and you can then turn around as a grown up and say, I'm not feeling right about this now. I'm gonna, this isn't gonna be good for me. But the kid, they've not got to that stage yet, have they?
And then I don't think they do. That's the thing about it, right? Because you've never put that barrier in place as a parent, then I don't think they develop it. And then I think they're going to have just issues their whole life with weight. I just think that's so unfair. It's hard enough as it is. You a lot of people, they're fit all the way through their young years and then they get fat. But I think to start fat, it's so unnecessary to put your kid in that situation. It's so easily avoided. Like, you're the parent, man. You're in charge. Yeah. You decide. Again, we don't want this to be a grumpy old man podcast, but today I just saw it and it's been on my mind all week.
I think it's just a shame. It's just sad to see.
Yeah, and, for sure.
I think you just said it's so unnecessary. And you said, it's easy to fix. It's easy it's probably too easy to get into that state in the first place because you haven't been disciplined with meal sizes, portions, or it's just too easy to choose the easy option at the end of the day.
Yeah, and every now and then you see it. This kid was an example. The parents weren't actually that big. It wasn't like, oh, okay, this is just your family and you all eat like this. Like, the parents were reasonably sized. So I just think you're either killing her with kindness, where she's your little princess and you can't say no, or I don't know where that comes from. That the kid would be very overweight and the parents are just pretty average.
Yeah, no.
Let's not dwell.
We'll have that solved one day. Yeah, sure. I thought we could add in another feature to our weekly convo. What about we have a option of a recommendation each week? Okay. A recommendation. I come with one. From the start of the year, I wanted to listen to more podcasts. I listen to a lot of music. I've got a new headset in the camper. I can connect now Bluetooth to a phone. So I've started listening to podcasts again. And I would highly recommend Infinity Monkey Cage. It's the Brian Cox, the mad scientist, cool scientist guy. He always has a panel on. The one I'm listening to at the moment is about rocks. So it's about all the scientists that basically look for fossils or look at the rocks and everything. And they quite often have a comedian on as well. And they bring real lightness to the conversation. So I would highly recommend that podcast to anyone. Any podcasts you could recommend for us, or you would recommend out there?
The Tim Ferriss Show has to be one of my favorite podcasts. Tim Ferriss wrote a book called The 4-Hour Work Week, and it was one of the pioneering books for basically being someone who could work freely, as in all you need is your laptop and an internet connection and you could work. So you could go abroad and all the rest of it and it wouldn't affect your business. And he does a podcast and he interviews very successful people in very different fields and asks very probing questions to kind of understand what makes them tick and what got them to where they are. So, and he really high profile people, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jamie Foxx, famous sports people, and it's like a long form interview similar to what the Joe Rogan experience is, but he's very targeted with his questioning. So the Tim Ferriss Show is highly recommended, especially if you're a bit of a productivity nerd, then you'll like him.
I've written that one down. I'll get on that.
I like this recommendation idea. We make this a regular feature.
feature. Last week I mentioned about I had evolved myself, and I found it a bit sticky trying to explain it. Do you recall last week I was saying I felt like I've gone through a stage where it's almost like shedding a skin. You've grown yourself, and I've thought about it, and I think the way that I could explain it a little bit better is I went for a moment of self-discovery. I think you at times one can go through almost a moment where you discover something more, either about yourself, about life, about your environment around you that you didn't know before. And I think, yeah, that's what I was getting on last week, in case I wasn't overly clear on that part of the convo.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I'm glad you felt that happen. Yeah. I feel like that happened a little bit when I bought this car, because I've had a terrible car history, and I know that 90% of it is my fault from just ignorance and not knowing things. But I've come to this one, and it's like, I got a good deal. I picked a good car. I got cheap insurance. You know, I just did all the things, and I sat back at the end of it all, and I was like, I have learned a few things. I've grown up a little bit. I am a little bit better with cars than I was yesterday. And
I've evolved.
I have evolved in the world of buying cars. I am the Yoda of car buying, officially.
Yeah, you got it now. Last week we were talking about Mars and NASA and all that kind of thing. And I don't think I've ever asked you where you sit with magic.
That's a great one. Magic. I love it. A huge David Blaine fan. I think that man is bonkers, and in just the most beautiful way. I'm well up for it.
Is he still active and around?
Yeah.
I don't see anything on him these days.
He's doing less of the big mad stuff that he was doing, but he's kind of gone back to his roots with like Houdini based magic these days. But he's still doing his thing. I wouldn't be surprised if he's at one point just dies doing something insane. Last thing I saw him doing was swallowing kerosene and then developing the ability to hold it in his stomach and then project it out literally like a pressure washer while setting it on fire. So he was just a walking flamethrower. And then he realized that he could float water on top of kerosene, because kerosene is thicker as a fluid. So the whole act was he would swallow the kerosene. He'd then swallow a glass of water with a live fish in it. He would then do his spouting thing where the water would come out. The fish would come out alive with the water. And then once he tasted the kerosene, he'd then get his lighter out and do his flame show on top of it.
Yeah, that's just, you have to see it to believe it, I think.
Yeah, it's just completely bonkers. But yeah, just props to him. And that's not even magic. There's nothing magic there. He's just taught himself how to control his stomach muscles and all of this stuff. But I think that's the most magical thing ever, right? Because technically anyone could do it, but I guarantee you not even 5 people on the planet could probably pull that off or be bothered to figure it out. I like magic. I don't believe in magic, but I'm very appreciative of all the stuff that goes into make any of that, where you just sit there and go, no idea how he's done that. Not a clue.
I think it's just a really good age-old skill, isn't it? It's almost like comedy. It's not comedy, but it's almost in the same skill set. Like you might have a prop or something else, but it just takes a lot of practice, doesn't it? A lot of repetition and skill.
Yeah, and I guess like everything, it draws an emotion out of people. And I think where magic is a bit unique is generally the emotion it draws out of you is like confusion and befuddlement. There's not much else out there that just leaves you going, huh? You know, some things make you happy, some things make you sad, but this just makes people generally pretty confused, and some even a little bit scared, but in like a good way, like roller coaster scared. I like magic.
Do you have a magic kick growing up?
I remember having pieces.
Never the full set.
Never had a full set, but I remember getting little odd bits and tinkering. The one I had that I really enjoyed, again, I don't know if this is magic or just a prank, but it was one of those invisible wires, and you could attach a note to it, like a £10 note or something, and then it had a little button to like zip it back in, so you could like put it somewhere, sit at a table, wait for someone to go pick it up, and it just goes into your hand. And those were good times. But yeah, no, I didn't have a kit. Did you have a magic kit?
Yeah, I had like the whole thing. I had a dice in a tube that you could push along, and as it went through the tube, it would change its number, and the cards and everything else. Yeah, are you going to have to relive this when you have kids? Or just go out there and do it with Van now.
I did.
And I'm going to cut you in half.
I had a friend at school, and he was obsessed with picking up women. That was like his thing. He had no interest in any sports. He just wanted to pick up women, but he always wanted to. He never could just go up to a girl and say, "Hi, nice to meet you. My name is blah blah blah." It had to come with a gimmick. And at one point, it became this close-up magic thing. And I remember sitting in pubs and watching him walk up to random women and just getting rejected over and over whilst trying to show them a card trick where the end result was meant to be, this is your card, and then it had his number on it. It was just horrifically cringe, and never panned out for him. But I imagine it does if you get good at it. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, so along the same lines then, because it made me think it after our Mars chat, what about psychics and the supernatural? So we've said that magic isn't real, as in it's a very skilled art and everything else. What about psychic and supernatural? The whole shebang of that.
I find the whole psychic thing, as in paying someone to talk to your dead grandma, I think it's almost as bad a crime as digging up dead people. Like, I think it should be up there. Yeah, I have a real issue with it. Because I'm a man of science and zeros and ones, I therefore can't believe in it. So I kind of am then automatically made to believe that not only are you lying and making it up, but you're doing it for a profit, and you're doing it for attention, and you're doing it at the expense of someone else's emotions, even if you're going to tell them that their husband is at peace now and he misses them, and you're going to make them feel good for a moment. It's just, for me, it's just the highest level of extortion. Like, I can't come to peace with it. I love spirituality and all of that stuff, and I think there's a lot of things that we have not yet to comprehend. But this whole psychic thing in particular, it doesn't sit well with me at all. I'm not a fan.
Because I haven't had the experience myself, as in I've not been to a medium or a psychic show or those kind. Because I know of a few people that it's a big thing for them, to go to see a psychic and get an answer, or they have these big shows and that. There was actually, talking of magicians, there was a guy that was kind of, I can't think of his name now. What was his name? Who was debunking it all. Like he was showing how
Darren Brown.
I was thinking Brown. Yeah, Darren Brown. And he did one where he had a room of people, and he gave them a story or something, and they were all like, "Oh, he basically read my mind. He knew all about my life and everything." And everyone had the same story. But I know of one person, they went to see one of these psychic people, and it was in like a theatre, so it was a lot of people there, and she got called out because he was tuning in to the other side. But he brought out names, places, and times which there was no way he could have known. There was no way he could have researched or Googled. I can't best describe it. But yeah, he said, oh, there's this woman, she died in X, Y, Z. She wants to say so. So what do you make of something like that?
I struggle with anything anecdotal like that, where like the person has got a single example of it looking like it works. Because for me, it's like, let's say you had that ability to that extent. It's like, why doesn't everyone know about you? Why aren't you effectively the most famous person on the planet? Because if you could replicate that enough times for everyone to basically be shown without a doubt that it's real, you would just be you'd basically be Jesus, or the closest thing to it. So that's where I struggle with it, because I just think no one's ever got to that point with it. No one has ever done like past the scientific testing of it. They've done a lot where they've taken, possible mediums and psychics, and not one of them has ever passed, the test that it's above just luck and average and, statistics. So I don't know. Like, I'm sure it happens from time to time, but I've seen some things happen where I'm just like, I don't have an explanation for that, and that's probably, from the other side. But it's like just one example in an infinite amount of examples where it doesn't go that way.
Ones and zeros, ones and zeros.
0 1 0 1 1 1 0 1. So I'm not sure.
I can remember my dad, he went to the Monroe Institute in America, a bit of like a self-help place, and he met a guy there, and this guy had a near-death experience, and basically he dropped everything in his life and, did what he did. But he was there because he had some personal issues, everything else since, and he'd always wear a cap, and that was partly down to him hiding some, quite a lot of psychology stuff involved, and by the end he took his hat off. But when he met my dad, he said since he had this near-death experience, he had the ability to read things, and he touched my dad. He said, "Oh, you broke your nose in XY year the first time from an elbow playing football." And my dad was like, "There's no way he could have known that." And it's like, there's a part of me that wants to believe it. I don't shell out coin for it or anything else. I don't go even in search of it, but there's a part of me that wants to believe it. So do you have any supernatural tales or that then?
My mum's house, I don't know if this counts. My mum's house is haunted. My mum's house has a ghost. Her name is Laura. And everyone in that house has seen her. And she always presents herself. She's in a blue dress and she floats above you normally when you're in bed. And she's constantly knocking stuff over in this house. So just all the time, a room has
This is your mother's house?
Mother's house. Room has no one in it, and books will be off the shelf and on the floor. And they've all just completely come to peace with it. And they just go, "Oh, it's Laura. She's acting up again." To the point now where there's a whole story about where she's from and her origins and all of this. My mum's even gone as far as like researching previous owners to see if anyone died in the house. They haven't. But that's the closest thing where, repeatedly there's 3 women who were in my house, my 2 sisters and my mum, and they all insist on all very separate occasions that they've experienced Laura, coming from the other side and messing with their soap bowls.
But no science to this.
No science to it, no explanation to it. But again, and I don't know if this is where you have to have a mind that's open to it to receive it. I have not met Laura. I have not experienced Laura. And I've been in the house when stuff's fallen off a shelf and I've just gone, maybe you just didn't put it on the shelf properly. Maybe the cat was there. Like my head instantly tries to bring it down to earth, whereas their head instantly goes to Laura. So I don't know if I'm just not, I don't get access to this stuff. You're not in tune. Yeah, I'm not in tune. I don't have the 6th sense. I can't open the 4th wall or the 5th gate or whatever you want to call it. My 3rd eye is like, needs glasses. It doesn't happen for me.
Yeah, interesting though, isn't it? And then finally then, on this topic to bring it full circle again, aliens.
Yeah, well, we talked about this a little bit last week, right?
Yeah.
I think, I'm all up for aliens. Aliens, I believe, are maybe here. Maybe we've got, didn't they come out with that we've got a spaceship? Wasn't that a thing? The Pentagon has to release something within the next couple of months where they're like forced by laws in the States about, Freedom of Information Act and all the rest of it, that they've got to tell them about something. And apparently they've put it out there that they have an alien ship. Like they've had it for a long time and it sits in the Pentagon. So, but I'm well up for aliens in any shape and form. And I'm well happy to believe that they're living amongst us and you're one and Elon Musk is one. I have no issue. But I don't think that's even that weird. I think that's well within the realms of things, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, no, it would be sure and exciting if they brought that out, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, let's see what we find on Mars. Even if they find the tiniest little germ, it's the coolest thing ever, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
most
it's just
definitely.
because there's something on this planet, I can never remember what it's called. A troglodyte? There's something, it's like a little bacterium, and it can survive in space. They've taken it out to space, and it can survive in the vacuum of space with all the radiation hitting it and everything, and it can live. So it's very, very possible that that thing came down on a comet or on a meteorite and landed here and presented itself to Earth. You know, yeah, it's just literally a little alien, but it's, you know, half a millimeter big.
Yeah, and you zoom in Men in Black style, and there's a whole little universe in there.
Yeah, well, it's really, you know, the Avengers where New York gets attacked by the aliens, and there's that big floaty thing, the bug. That's based on the artisticness of it. Is on this little alien thingy-majig. We'll get an image up of it at some point with this thing. It's but yeah, it looks just like it.
Cool, love it. You got anything food for us today? I've actually eaten, so I feel really satisfied. But I'm gonna have my Friday. It's Wednesday. I'm gonna have my Wednesday bump. I'm gonna have a hot chocolate. We've got one of those Velveteer hot chocolates for Christmas, and nice. Yeah, very very nice, very smooth. But yeah, you got anything foodie for us?
Well, kind of. So I've recently I'm on a bit of I get into certain things with cooking, and I just keep doing it for a while. And at the minute, it's slow cooking stuff. So just taking big pieces of meat, cooking it low and slow, like 6-7 hours until it just falls off a bone. And I keep seeing, and it's one of these things, there's two things that I just keep thinking about buying. One is a slow cooker, like an independent slow cooker, and one is an air fryer. And I don't know if you air fryer, because I just see it where people just take chips and put them in it, and it comes out and they're as crispy as if they were cooked in loads of oil, but they're cooked in one little spoon of oil. So I guess where I'm getting at is kitchen gadgets. Do you have any? Do you like any? Are there any that you want? Could you care less?
The only really time you get me cooking on a regular basis is camping. Especially if it's wild camping. Lauren is a good cook. Daisy and Cece are now very capable. Daisy's a very good baker for an 11-year-old, nearly 12-year-old now. And so I kind of ignorantly haven't had the need. And food doesn't excite me like it does most people. Yeah, I haven't, Lauren's got a slow cooker though. Say that, we have a slow cooker. But yeah, cooking gadgets, I'm not overly sold on, to be honest. But yeah, excite us.
Well, I can't even excite you because I don't buy them. I just always like the idea of them. I've been slow cooking all week with my oven. I have no need for a slow cooker. Yet, if I see one in a shop, I can't help but go and look at it and look at the box and look at I just can't help myself. I make chips in the oven. They're absolutely fine. I enjoy them. Or I go to McDonald's and I just get some chips.
But you're really intrigued by
I see an air fryer and I'm like, whoa, that's nice. Oh, look at the size of its tray and blah, blah, blah. But I never bite the bullet and get one. So I don't know if it's just gadgets of any kind. Just get me looking. I'm sure you get a salesman to walk up to me. They can probably make me walk out, one in each hand, air fryer. And I think a big part of it is just not having the space as well. Like our kitchen's not massive, but I think if I had all the room, I'd just do like a gadget on every work surface all the way around. One, I'll tell you though, we do have boiled egg maker. Right?
Boiled egg maker. Boiled egg maker. That's called a pan of water, isn't it?
Yes. Now I was very much of this opinion when my wife brought this home, because she insisted we get one of these, and it was £15. So I was like, fine. It's not overly expensive.
£15 of your well-earned money.
15 well-earned pounds. I'll take it if it will shut you up. So we got this thing, but I'm completely sold, because boiled water, if you want a soft boiled, a medium boiled, or a hard boiled egg, you kind of have to, it's always a bit of a gamble, right? 8, 9 times out of 10, if you really know what you're doing, you'll get exactly what you want. But there's always going to be an occasion where you just open it.
There's that chance. Yeah, there's that chance.
This machine, 0 chance.
Really?
0. You want it soft boiled, it will be soft. You want 6 soft boiled eggs, it will happen. You want 6 medium boiled where the oak is just a little bit runny, but the rest of it is still, yeah. It's a very cool machine.
Is it Bluetooth?
It's not. It's dead simple. It's got a little water thing, and you put a certain amount of water for how many eggs you're cooking, and you flick a switch, and then it beeps off like a kettle when it's done. It's very simple. It's very clever. Boiled egg machine. If you like boiled eggs, go buy one. You won't regret it.
It's amazing what people have dreamt up and invented and then sold, isn't it? Amazing.
Yeah. Now, and that's where I think kitchen gadgets come into their own, because they get weird at one point. It goes down a bit of a weird and wonderful bit where you're just like, who needs that? How many times are you doing that thing to need that tool to do that thing? But there we go.
Well, we're in the process of moving, and we've spoken about obviously kitchen and what we want to do and everything else. It's a bit of a longer term project, but we're going at the moment with the idea of like a stainless steel kitchen, and then very vibrant colour utensils, tools, and features and bits like that. Go very much down like it looking good as well as being practical because if you go to any bar, pub, hotel, it's usually all the stainless steel, isn't it? So
wipe down and go.
And we did go out for a meal because I do appreciate eating out, and I would like to recommend a place, but I can't even remember the name of it. In Tunbridge Wells, it was a fish restaurant, and they had a stainless steel cooker top. That didn't have flame or like a ring on it, but used magnets for heating. Mm-hmm. And I can't tell you the science of it, but it was well interesting when he was telling us about it. So it's meant to be really efficient and eco-friendly and all those kind of things.
Love it. Love it.
Maybe we'll revisit this at some point.
For sure. No doubt. Has to be done. I enjoy a kitchen. We can talk kitchens all day.
Yeah. I've brought a reading to you if you want to, if you're ready to wrap up with that.
Hit me.
I'm going to post it actually, and I read it in a book. So the other day I read something about the act of love between two people, and I thought I'd try and share it broadly, adding my own words. So here goes. So basically it was a copy paste move, add a few more words and everything else. Love is like climbing a mountain. Over timid people are scared to even start and miss out on the whole experience. Hardy and balanced people accept the risks for the rewards. Love risks someone else's neck besides your own. The climb will be dangerous, with many pitfalls and dangers where you can fall along the way. You should never take a novice climber halfway up and leave them when things get difficult. Even the most experienced get caught out. Though love can be extremely dangerous, it can give our best and our worst moments. It is also the supreme human experience. Dare to love and climb that mountain together.
Ah, that was super cute.
Yeah.
I'm actually, in that case, if it's all right with you, I'm going to save my quote for next week, because I've got a really grumpy old man quote, and I don't want to put a downer on what was a very nice sentiment message.
Do it. People can always rewind 30 seconds and just listen to that bit again, can't they?
If you're in a good mood and you enjoyed what JC just said, switch the podcast off now. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. Share with your friends, 5-star review, all of that stuff. If, however, you just want to now go back to being a miserable git, listen to this and then you can finish. The problem with the world is that the intelligent people are full of doubts, whilst the stupid ones are full of confidence. Charles Bukowski? There we go.
I wasn't too grumpy.
Okay. No. He looks very grumpy in the photo of him saying it.
I thought you were going to talk about fat kids or something for a second.
Well, it's somehow related to it, right? Yeah. It's something to do with it. I'm sure the parents of fat kids think they're doing the right thing.
Yeah. Good luck to them.
Yeah. No. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, what you just said a minute ago and all of that.
All of that stuff. Done.
Peace out.